Three.
A woman should be who and what she wants. We support the multifaceted woman. The woman embracing many titles, undertaking different ventures, and building generational wealth. You are a Jackie of all trades, master of your empire. Enterprise Empress, you are an unstoppable force.
Welcome back, Empresses, and thank you all for joining us this week. I'm Natalie Rowe, and my co-host today is
Neidy Hornsby.
We are so excited that we have with us today the Jackie of all trades, Melissa Gulley.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
We're so excited on what we do on this show. For those of you who are new to joining us, is we call the show Today's Jackie because we highlight different women who are Jackies of all trade and they're masters of their empire. Today we are talking about Melissa and her different titles and the different things that she's undertaking. Right. So Melissa, share with us, what are some of your titles?
Daughter, sister, mother,
yes,
wife, friend. I'm an accountant and currently a vice president of the South Miami chapter of Jack and Jill of America.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Your titles are so varied.
Yes.
You are
most important mother.
Right? Okay.
Yes. And you are in good company because we are both mothers also. So.
Yes. And what all of that entails and means and how it bleeds into your other titles. So for sure.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the process that you're in with McDonald's.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that process and what it entails. Educate us a little bit.
Well, I'm currently in a training program that covers all aspects of owning and operating a McDonald's franchise. It's a lot of work, a lot of work. But McDonald's is truly big on making sure that you know the day-to-day operations and all aspects of the administrative part. So that's where I am.
That's good. That's good. Can you tell us how long that program is, that training program, just to get an idea?
It varies. It varies depending on the time that you give to it. Right now, I'm totally dedicated. I'm working in the stores. I'm working behind the scene. I'm in classes, after hours, 4 to 8 at night. I am totally busy. It's been a very extremely busy year for me, but I'm embracing it.
Good.
Yes.
So one of the things that you mentioned, which I share with you, and so does Natalie, is the title of mother, right? So I want to go back to that because I'm always fascinated with what, we refer to as like that cross path, that intersection between motherhood and ambition and being an entrepreneur and what all of that means. So could you talk to us? Because a lot of our audience members are also navigating that. What is the word I'm looking for? Not challenging, but just demanding season of being ambitious and following your personal dreams while being a mother.
Right. So for me, my family was always my first priority. I've always been ambitious, always been motivated, but first, my family came first. I worked, even though I worked a 9 to 5. That my family structure, my husband, he worked, going through the McDonald's program, and my family truly, because of our dynamics, we decided that I would stay home, I would take care of the kids, and my main focus would be the children. So at the time when they were younger, I did all the running around, took them to sports, did the field trips. I was available.
Super mom.
Yeah, super mom. I was available. And now that they're older, the focus is me, right?
Yeah.
I'm focusing on me. I'm being a little bit selfish. We have to learn to be selfish. And I still do whatever I need to do to keep the family together, keep the family connected, and to maintain the legacy, to make sure that it grows. Now, I know that there was that you asked about mother guilt before. We talked about this before.
So let's pause for a second and give context, right? So
Right.
we usually have like a pre-call with our guests for the show. And I have to tell you, I've told Natalie and Sharon, like, you were so inspiring on that pre-call. I really felt liberated about mom guilt, right? So tell us a little bit about like what mom guilt is and like how you experienced it and all of that, because that was so valuable to me.
Well, I think that everyone has its challenges within the home, right? And sometimes we have to make decisions, and whether those decisions are you have to work, you have to put in 40 hours a week. But my mom guilt, I do have mom guilt time to time. Currently, my children are out of the home, right? But the mom guilt comes from realizing that there's some areas that you lacked in, right? And when you see those areas play out in your children, you know, you get a little you realize that they were affected, right? So that's where my mom guilt comes from. Because even though I was present and I was home and I did the running around with the children, there were times, even though you think you're present, sometimes you lose sight of many things, right? As a parent. I relied a lot on my mother, and she was always a great source of strength, as well as my sister friends.
That's good. So what I heard, or I actually saw this week, I went to an exhibit called Womanish, right? You mentioned selfish, and this is what made me think of it. And they have different exhibits in the space, and one of them was selfish. And what they did is they turned selfish around to make it about self-care. So not what the society generally says selfish is, with being self-centered in a negative way, but in a positive way. So as you said, you're being selfish. I just thought about you're taking care of yourself at this time in this season in the way that you need to.
Right. And I can be a little selfish. I don't have any children at home right now. so
it's your time.
You deserve it.
It's really my time.
Yeah.
And I do deserve it. And we have to tell ourselves, and we have to know that, we deserve. We are deserving.
But that is so powerful what you're saying, right? Because it takes a lot of courage as a mom to say that I deserve to put my ambitions on the table, right? And it does not make me a bad mom. It does not make me a bad anything. It makes me a human being with goals outside of my parenting role, right? So I want to go to that because that's amazing. To switch it in our mind, because it's so easy for us to fall into that trap that thinking about what makes us happy and brings us joy somehow is a bad thing.
Right. Because it's not.
No,
it's not. And
I know that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mom guilt looks a different way depending on the season. So the minute you think like, oh, I don't feel mom guilt about X, then mom guilt is like, okay, well, I'll just change my outfit, but I'm going to show up again in some other capacity.
Well, mom guilt is, I mean, I think everyone has mom guilt.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have multiple children.
We're imperfect people, so we are going to lack in some areas, right? And
I think the key for mom guilt is to know that we've done and given the best that we had to our kids. And I think part of doing and pursuing our ambitions is a part of doing that, because we're teaching our kids that they can be involved in different things, right? And that doesn't mean because I'm involved in this, that I love you less in this area or that it's taking away from you. Like I'm actually doing this also for you, to show you that you can do it. When they grow up, you can be involved in whatever you want to be involved in, and one thing doesn't make you less in another area.
Right. And you can't pour into them if you're empty,
empty.
So
if you are empty.
So to be in a place of joy with yourself, all you can give is joy.
And we've been there too, right? As parents.
Yes. We all have.
We neglect ourselves. So.
Yes. Especially I think when they're little, because they require so much.
But you know what? You're right, Natalie. And I thought that, except that when they get older, the need is just different.
It changes.
Yeah. And it's like,
absolutely
changes. So it's always going to be. And then you think about yourself, like the things that I still call my mom for. Like I'm a whole married woman with 3 kids, right? So I just think when you're a mom, you're a mom, you're a mom Full
it
stop.
doesn't end.
Full stop.
It does not end.
Right.
No, that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. So let's talk a little bit about how important it is for women to have a village, to have a network to support them.
Extremely important. I've always had a village, and my girlfriend will always say, there's no hood like sisterhood.
I love that.
There's
Yeah.
no hood like sisterhood. And we talked about this, right?
Mhm.
And girlfriends, they give you the inspiration,
Mhm.
the diversity of perspective,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
strength,
Yeah.
Yes.
projected by a village of supportive women
Yeah.
Mhm.
who have experienced the same highs and lows is a necessity to
Yes.
survive.
Yes.
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 So
Yes.
I have friends in all different areas, diverse areas, and I think they bring a different element and passion into your
Mhm.
life. So I believe having a great support system is really what carried me. I've had friendships for over 30 years,
Mhm.
and my friendships are very important. And my new friendships are important. I have a really strong village,
Awesome.
village of
That's
women who surround me, who
Mhm.
supports me, who uplifts me,
Mhm.
and want me to do well. They
Mhm.
want me to do well. They want me to succeed. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
The love for my village.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So what's so beautiful about what you just said is that it goes against the narrative that women can't get along
Yeah.
or that women can't work together
Right.
Support each other.
and support each other.
Yeah.
And I have found that to be so far, far, far from the truth. Natalie and I haven't known each other for more than maybe 4 months?
Maybe.
But there's a
Maybe.
level of comfort there. There's a level of sisterhood there that
Right.
just naturally was
Yes.
right and has
Yes.
been right. So I think that I love what you just said, a village of diverse perspective, because I can live in my head, right, and I like to give myself advice, and
Right.
sometimes that's not a good thing.
Yes.
So to have a group of women that can just give you different perspective, that alone is worth
That-
building that community.
Yeah.
That's important. That's
Yeah.
everything to me.
Absolutely.
Loyalty.
Loyalty, yeah.
You know, and I think as women, we just have to get past being thin-skinned. You have to look past and try to
Stop talking to me.
understand. Try to understand. You know, see
Yes.
past what you see on the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just try to
Yes.
love us despite.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're misunderstood,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
That's right.
And many times it's our insecurities,
Yeah.
right?
Being projected.
That's
correct.
huge. That's
So-
huge, Melissa.
Loyalty and friendship, my support system. My mother is a heavy support to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I got to shout her out.
Yeah. You want to shout out now?
Go ahead, shout her
Hi,
out.
Mom. My husband, but we'll get there.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes, there's nothing like mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So talk a little bit about with your support system, how that plays also into you being a mother, not just as you being a woman and a friend, but can you talk a little bit about how your network has helped with your kids, with supporting you as a mom?
Well, can you please repeat the question?
Has your network helped in supporting you as a mom?
Absolutely.
As the kids have grown up?
Absolutely, because there's always areas that you don't understand.
Mhm.
A lot of times we do what we learn, but not what's always best.
Girl, you could pause right there.
We
That's
do
a whole
what
mouthful.
we've learned,
Yes.
and what's not always best.
Yes.
And that's why a diverse group of
Mhm.
friends
Yeah,
is important, because then
Yes.
you can vent and you can talk and
that's
you can share if
And
you're
learn.
comfortable in sharing.
Mhm.
I share.
yes.
And I also think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I think that plays a little bit into also like your interest with the community. So your involvement with Jack and Jill. Obviously, that is in line with this whole idea of
Right.
creating
The village.
an intentional village, an
Yes.
intentional
Sisterhood.
sisterhood. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
sisterhood.
So there was a quote that says, "To be delayed is not to be denied." When you think about your life and when you think about where you are right now, what does that mean to you?
Well, I love that quote. because I specifically think that quote defines me. It's so powerful. It's so timing for me. In my experience, being delayed was necessary for my personal growth and development. Again, I took time off to focus on my family, and I don't regret it. Right? It was what we needed at the time. Depending on your circumstances, you have to know your challenges, and you have to know what is best for your family. But what I've learned is that what our wants and needs, the things that we want and need, may not be God's plan. Right? He may have a different plan for us. There's some things that we may have to grow through, learn along the way, and everything is on his time. So to be delayed and to be denied, I think it's wonderful. I'm here at 46, and I'm striving right now. I feel good about myself, and I have faith, and I know that God has a plan for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm faithful.
Yeah.
That is very powerful, because when you're denied, it's so easy to see that as like the end of the story, right? And it might be the end of that particular chapter, right? But it's usually never the end of the story. There's always something on the other side of accepting the path.
Right.
And most importantly, you can't compare yourself to others.
That's it.
You can't compare yourself to others.
It steals your joy.
It steals your joy, but
their path is
you know what is best for you and your family, right? I had to give up my career, you know, for my family.
Right.
And like I said, it was necessary. And my husband strived in the process, right? Because he was in the McDonald's program he's been in the system for 16 years.
Wow.
Owner operator for 11 years. But that is the decision that we made for our family.
Right.
Because that is what my family required.
Right.
Right. I need to shout out my father-in-law.
Go ahead.
My father-in-law, Clinton Gulley Sr. He's also given us our platform.
Yes.
He built a legacy for us, and he's been in the McDonald's system since 1973.
Wow.
48 years, I believe that is. Yes, he's been in the system for 48 years. He's been an owner operator, a franchise operator for 20 years. So I do have to give him a shout out, as well as my husband, who's right outside.
Oh, is he?
He is my heavy support system.
Oh, good.
That's
right.
Good.
And my father-in-law is the one who gave us our platform. So
That
is where my motivation comes from as well. That's where it stemmed from. To work for my business, our business.
That's good. That's good.
Right.
It seems that you were blessed also with what you just described, a very strong unit, right? To pursue these franchises, which the process in itself, you know, it's probably not for the weak. And you guys have been doing this forever. Yeah.
And I've seen my husband go through it. So I've been I've been around it for quite a long time, you know?
Yeah.
Quite a long time.
Good. So it's time now, Melissa. We have this segment that we call Guard Your Genius Tips. So every show, Neidy gives us a tip on a different way for females in particular for us to guard our genius. So what do you have for us today?
So I thought, in light of what we were talking about with franchise and the world of franchise relationships, one of the questions that came up this week is, in anticipation for your interview, is what is the difference between a franchise and a license? And which is a great question. And you will probably jump in as well. So with the franchise is essentially an extension of an already established business. And I think that the best way to look at it is the McDonald's franchise. When you enter in that relationship with a larger corporation, you are essentially saying, I am going to operate as an extension of this brand and of this business, right? Versus a license isn't as regulated, and it's just a relationship between two parties where one party is granting the other access to its trademarks or its technology. The main difference between the two for us to keep in mind is the amount of control. So as you know, as a franchise, there's a lot of rules and that you cannot deviate from, right?
There's a lot of rules.
Right. So you're just operating as an extension of a larger brand. And I think that that's the core difference between the two, because they look and they sound alike, but in theory and in practice, they're very different.
And this is why we go to Hamburger University.
Is that what it's called?
Hamburger University.
Stop it.
Yes. To learn all those areas.
Yes.
Hamburger University. I
Yes.
love it.
Hamburger
I love
University.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us, for being our Jackie of all trade. Thank you for inspiring women who felt like because they decided to choose their family and put their family first, that they may not be able to reach their dreams.
Right.
I think you've shown me, Neidy,
You've
and
shown
all
me.
of the other women who are going to see this, that to be delayed is not to be denied.
Not to be denied.
That is awesome. It's powerful, and it goes a lot further than I think even you realize in this moment.
No, it was a gift. It was a gift
It
to
really
us. So
is.
thank
Where you
you.
are, right?
Yes. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
This was
Thank
so much
you.
fun.
It really
Thank
was.
you for having me.
You're very.
My first podcast.
We need to have you again. We need to have you again.
We're so glad.
That was a lot of gems for
Thank
20
It really
minutes.
was.
Thank
It really
you.
was. It's a lot of nuggets. I wish I could have been taking
Right?
but I'm gonna go back and watch
Tommy
it.
got us
Yes.
for the recording.
Yes. So thank you all for joining
Thank
us
you.
again on this episode of Empress News. We want you ladies to wear your crowns and to wear them well. We'll see you guys next time.